Hello, welcome to this HR system tutorial by Eneza Telecoms. I'm going to take you through addition of new employees into the system. As you can see, I'm already logged into the system. Once logged in, we will click on the part of HR and Payroll on the left side of the screen. Having clicked on HR and Payroll, we look at the options listed at the top and click on Employees. Thereafter, it opens for us a new page, and as we can see on the right hand side at the middle of the screen, there are two options. There's import and there's add new. Now, add new is addition of a new employee manually, while import allows you to upload an Excel document, a template of which will be provided for you in this system. So you get to download it, fill in the details of the employees, and then get to upload it back. The advantage of the import system is that you get to add several employees at the same time. So we are going to start with the manual way of adding a new employee and click on add new. Having clicked on add new, it brings us this page, so we input the details of our new employee. So let's give them a name. We can call her Emma as her first name, and Peters as the last name, and on other names we can choose to call her Alice. So those are all her names. And her gender, this is female, so we choose female. We give the employee a date of birth. We get to choose it accordingly. In this case, I'll just pick on 3rd August. And then right here, there's this option and this box where we are going to click on it. This will allow the new employee to be able to log into the system. So having seen there's a part of email address here, they're going to receive an email on their end, which will have the link to allow them to log into the system. So we'll just click on it and then come down under contact details, and we indicate a phone number for the employee. So you can write the number accordingly, and then we come to the email address. emmapeters@gmail.com. Then right under, there's the part for next of kin details, which we are going to indicate the next of kin to Emma. Let's call the next of kin Laban, and the last name Lewis. We give the ID number for the next of kin and the email address for the next of kin. And the phone number for the next of kin. Then we continue moving downwards to the part of company details. So depending on which branch our new employee is at, we get to choose. In this case, we can put them under Mombasa branch, and we give a designation for this employee. We can call them IT intern. And then under job grade, depending on how you have grouped them in your organization, you indicate accordingly. In this case, let me just write grade E. And under department, we put them under the IT department. We continue moving downwards to add in more details. And on other details down here, we can see there's the part of asking whether they are a supervisor, whether they are a HR, whether they're a head of department, and whether they're a director in charge. So in our case, our new employee is neither of these, so I will leave all the answers at no. But should it apply in your case, then you just choose the option accordingly and say whether it's a yes or a no. Let's continue moving downwards, and on payroll identification details, you write the employee number. This is the employee number the organization has given this employee once they come in. So let's choose to give this number. We indicate the ID number for the employee. And the KRA PIN. The NHIF number. And the NSSF number. Thereafter, we continue moving downwards to bank details. We can indicate the bank account number for our new employee. And the bank, the name of the bank. So we can assume in this case it's a Standard Chartered Bank. And we indicate the branch of this bank. So maybe we can choose Kitale. We continue moving downwards under compensation details and add in more details of our new employee. So on the type of employee, there is primary and secondary. Depending on which one gets to apply to your employee, then you indicate accordingly. In this case, I will leave it at primary. And then we indicate the gross pay of our new employee. And kindly note that any part that is marked with this red star, then it means it's mandatory for us to fill it. If you do not fill any part that is marked with the red star, then it means you will not be able to successfully save your employee. So let's get to the gross pay. We can assume that they receive a pay of 40,000 being an intern. And then down here there's the part for pension, home ownership savings plan, help deduction, mortgage, life insurance, stroke education policy. So should any of these be applying to our new employee, then you can tick accordingly. For instance, if your new employee is under help deduction, then of course you're going to tick on the help deduction box. Having clicked on help deduction box, then you'll also be forced to provide for the monthly help deduction amount, which you're going to indicate in this box. So in our case, we will assume that our employee is not being deducted for help, and therefore I will untick this box because they are still an intern. And assuming that we are done filling all the details that will apply to the new employee, then we just come down here on the far right and click on Save Employee. Having clicked on Save Employee, you can see we have successfully added our new employee. Let's look out for her. Her name was Emma. We check out in the list. Here it is. Emma Peters has successfully been added into the system as a new employee. So that's the manual way of adding a new employee. Should you want to see more details of the new employee, then you just click on the eye icon against the name and you'll be able to see all the details listed here. We can take a note that on the left side of the screen, there's a list here. The first part is profile. This is the page on which we are on. There's also the part for dependents. There's the part for assets, and there's part for payslips. Payslips is going to be covered under the video tutorial for payroll. So you're going to see it on that end. So I will choose to look into assets and dependents. Now, having clicked on dependents, let's click on dependents. It gives you an option to add a dependent to this employee, or even a next of kin. As you remember, we already put a next of kin for our employee when we were adding them the first time, but you can equally choose to add a new employee, or even in an event where the employee has changed their next of kin, then you just come and click on add new and you get to add the new next of kin. On dependents, it's the same case. So in this case, since we had already put in a next of kin, let's add a new dependent. It brings us this new page, and we can indicate the name of the dependent. Let's call him Teddy as first name. Last name Jax. Gender, we can say male. Relationship, we can call him a child to our employee. ID number, it doesn't apply to the child, so you can leave it blank. But in an instance where an ID number would apply, if it's an adult, then you will just fill it in. But because it doesn't have a red star, then it means it's not mandatory. We come down here on the part of email address. If it applies, you can also indicate it, and on phone number, you can equally indicate it. So in our case, let's assume that this child has a phone. So let's just write the phone number. And then thereafter, having filled all the details of our new dependent, then we just come down here and click on save dependent or next of kin. We have successfully added the dependent, and as you can see, he already applies here. We can equally come down here and add a next of kin, which is the same process. Let's call the other next of kin James, and the last name Jones. Gender, we can choose male. Relationship, we can choose to say spouse. ID number of this particular spouse, we have to indicate it. And the email address of the next of kin. And then we move downwards, indicate the phone number of the next of kin. Having filled in all the details of the next of kin we intend to add of our new employee, then we just come down here and click on save dependent. As you can see, we have already successfully added the new next of kin with James Jones. The details are here, and would you wish to see their details, then you just click on the eye icon and it brings you the details of the dependent or the next of kin. So that's on the part of dependents. On the part of assets, this is where you want to assign a particular asset to this employee. So we click on assets, and then come to the far right of the screen and click on add. And then we are going to assign an asset. In this case, we can choose to assign her headphones, and then you indicate the date to which they were assigned that particular asset. You also indicate the condition of that particular asset, on whether it was in good condition, whether it needs repair, or whether it was a write-off. So in this case, we are going to say it's in good condition. And under notes, you're going to include any details about the assignment of this particular asset. So maybe we can say you're going to indicate any kind of notes that might apply or that you would wish to record. Once you've done all this and you've assigned this particular asset to the employee, then we just come down here and click on Save Asset. And the system already tells us that we have successfully assigned the headphones to our new employee. So going back at the top, we click on Profile. We get to see the details of our new employee that we added, who is Emma Peters. When you come down here, you click on Dependents, you get to see their dependents. Under it, you get to click on Assets. You get to see the assets which they have been assigned. So it could be one asset or it could be more than one. Should it be more than one, then you just follow the same process by clicking on Add Asset here. So having completed the manual way of adding a new employee, we'll click back on Employees at the top. So it takes us back to the page that has listed all the employees. As you can see, these are our employees. So we go to the importation of the Excel document. So in this case, you're able to add several employees at the same time. So let's click on Import. Having clicked on Import, we will assume that you already have your template ready, which you downloaded from here. This is where you get to download it from. Having downloaded it from here, then you get to fill in the details of the new employees if you have several employees. And then having filled in the details, then you just come here, follow the same process and click on Select File. As you can see, it's already told you, the system tells you, use the provided template to import employees. So this is the provided template here, which you're going to download and fill in the details. So having filled in the details, you just click on Select File, and then you go back to your computer and get to choose the file that you had prepared, which is in Excel form. You click on it and then upload it. Once you upload, as you can see, it's already here. We click on this box, we tick it in order for accounts to be created for the employees, as I explained earlier in the manual way of adding a new employee. If you have indicated an email address, then they will automatically get a link into their email that will allow them to log into the HR system of the organization. So we tick this box, and having uploaded our new file here, then we just come here and click Import. This will allow us to upload. As you can see, we have successfully imported our Excel document, and it's going to give us the employee whom we had added. So in this case, our new employee that we had added in the Excel document was John Smith. So as you can see, he's already listed here, and that's how we get to add new employees both manually and through importation of an Excel document. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Please watch out for our other video tutorials and don't forget to subscribe.